All right, let's dive in. Today, we're leveling up. We're going to move past the simple chatbots that we all know and use, and we're going to look at what's next, autonomous AI. AI that doesn't just answer your questions, but actually gets things done. But first, here's a question that really gets to the heart of the matter. Have you ever wondered why a super powerful AI can write a flawless email, it can even code an entire app, but it just completely falls apart when you ask it to do something that seems simple, like resolving a customer support ticket? Well, this is what we call the capability paradox. And honestly, it's the reason most people are still using AI all wrong. And this right here, this is the fundamental difference. You see, standard AI is totally reactive. You give it one prompt, you get one response. That's it. Agentic AI, on the other hand, is proactive. You don't give it a prompt, you give it a goal, and then it goes off and builds and executes the entire workflow to make it happen.
Now, to really wrap your head around this, we need a simple way to think about it. So let's break down the entire world of AI into 3 distinct tiers. This is going to help you figure out where you are right now, and more importantly, where you should be headed.
Okay, so Tier 1 is standard AI. These are the large language models we all know and use every day. You know, your ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. They're incredibly powerful, for sure, but they're also fundamentally passive. They need a direct human prompt for every single action they take.
The best analogy for this is just a calculator. I mean, it can do super complex math in a fraction of a second, right? But until you type in the numbers and tell it exactly what to do, it's basically just a paperweight. That's Tier 1.
Now, let's climb the ladder to Tier 2, AI workflows. This is a definite step up from that simple prompt and response model. In this tier, an AI follows a fixed, pre-programmed set of steps. A really common example of this is something called RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. That's where an AI can go look up information in a specific database to answer questions. It's more capable, yeah, but it's still running on rails.
Think of it like a factory assembly line. It's super efficient at doing the same repetitive tasks over and over and over. But the second something unexpected happens, something that isn't in its rigid programming, the whole line just grinds to a halt.
And that brings us to the top. Tier 3, Agentic AI. And folks, this is the paradigm shift. An agentic AI can autonomously plan its own steps, it can use tools to interact with the real world, and, this is the most important part, it can self-correct when it messes up or hits a roadblock. All of this is in service of achieving a complex goal you've given it.
So forget the calculator, forget the assembly line. The absolute best way to think about this is the difference between asking someone for directions and hiring a chauffeur. Right? You don't tell the chauffeur every single time to turn left or which lane to get in. You just tell them where you're going. They handle the traffic, the unexpected detours, and they even find the parking spot. That is an agent.
So the big question is, how does it actually do that? How does an agent think? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a pretty logical, repeatable process that we call the agentic loop.
This loop is really the core of how an agent operates. First, it starts with a plan, breaking down that big goal into smaller, manageable steps. Then it acts. It executes one of those steps. Next, it observes what happened as a result of that action. And finally, it reflects. It asks itself, did that work? Am I closer to my goal now? And based on that answer, it adjusts the plan and starts the cycle all over again. This constant loop of action and self-correction is what lets it navigate really complex problems.
Now, to actually act in the world, the agent needs a toolkit. Its brain can't be stuck in a box. So, this toolkit includes things like calling APIs to talk to other software, performing web searches to get real-time info, querying databases. It can even access long-term memory to learn from past experiences. This ability to use external tools is what gives an agent its real power.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually make it practical? How do we build a bridge from our messy human processes to this idea of an AI on autopilot? Well, the answer is probably already sitting on your company's servers.
I love this quote because it just makes everything click. Your business already runs on standard operating procedures, or SOPs. These are literally detailed step-by-step instructions for how people are supposed to do their jobs. You've already written the script. Agentic AI is just the first actor that can actually read that script and perform it all by itself.
And look at this chart. The translation from a human process to an agent's action is surprisingly direct. A step a human would take, like check the CRM, just becomes an agentic action. Call the CRM API. Look up an order status becomes execute a database query. And what's really crucial is that even the points where you need a person to check things can be built right in. Ask Manager for approval becomes a human-in-the-loop review where the agent just pauses and waits for a person to give the okay. You're not reinventing your business, you're just giving it an autonomous engine.
So where does this all lead? Well, when you start connecting all these agentic workflows together, you're not just buying a new piece of software. You are fundamentally building an entirely new kind of company.
You know, for the last 100 years, our relationship with technology has been additive. It's been human plus machine, a person using a tool to be a little bit more efficient. Agentic AI is completely different. It's multiplicative. It's human times machine. It's one person directing an entire team of autonomous agents, and together they achieve outcomes that neither one could ever accomplish alone. And the potential impact here, it's just staggering. We're not talking about a little 10 or 20% improvement. The research is pointing towards productivity gains in the neighborhood of 10 times what's possible today. This is not an incremental change, it is a step change in how work gets done.
So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The goal is so much bigger than just adding a chatbot to your website. The real goal is to build an Agentic Enterprise, a brand new operating model where autonomous agents and talented humans work together as one single cohesive team.
Which really just leaves us with one final practical question to think about. If you look at your own job, your own company's workflows, what is the one process, the one SOP that you would hand over to a fully autonomous agent tomorrow if you could? Because that